Coming up on a Skin Depth Convo.
I never really went out to get help. I always was trying to give help, but for someone to say, stop, take care of yourself, get this done, follow up, was definitely a big moment for me to understand that you've got to take care of yourself a little bit and prioritize better. So I was very fortunate that I had a good support system. Didn't want to talk about it because it's breast cancer, but just it's a very, very common thing right now, and should we all be comfortable to talk about it?
This is the show focused on educating and inspiring all those in the skincare and beauty industry. But it is also a show for those looking to improve themselves from the inside out. Renowned experts and hosts Metaxia, Dalikas, and Francine Kagarakis aim to educate and inspire through their own experiences and are dedicated to enlightening and empowering enthusiasts and professionals in the realm of skincare and beauty. Join the conversation and the fun with a Skin Depth Convo. Welcome to a Skin Depth Convo. I'm Anna Kagarakis. This October, in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, we're sharing a deeply personal and powerful story from one of our own. Joining me today is Lira Clinical co-founder Metaxia Dalikas, a woman whose strength, positivity, and passion continue to inspire everyone around her. As a breast cancer survivor, Metaxia's journey is one of courage, faith, and resilience, not only in her personal life, but in the way she leads and uplifts others through her work in the skincare industry. Today, we'll talk about her experience with diagnosis and treatment, what it was like balancing her health while running a global company, the incredible support she received from her family and Lira co-owners, and her expert advice on caring for the skin before, during, and after cancer treatments. We're also joined by our other expert host and one of the founders of Lira Clinical, Francine Kagarakis, who is also with Metaxia every step of the way during her battle. This conversation is about more than just skincare. It's about healing, hope, and the power of community. Thank you so much, Metaxia, for coming on here and talking about your personal story and your journey with everyone.
With that kind of intro, it brought all the emotions. It brought so much emotion. So I'm going to hope I could contain myself through this, but thank you for that intro. It's pretty powerful. Thank you, Anna.
Well, what you have gone through is one of the most scariest things that people hear. When you hear the word cancer, it is an incredibly difficult word to hear. Let's go back to when you were first diagnosed. What was going through your mind during that time? What was going on in your life and also in your business?
You think it happens to everybody but you. Not having a mammogram for years because it's not going to happen to me. And finally falling a few times, kind of getting a signal that something's wrong, going in because of a bruise from the fall and getting a mammogram and realizing it wasn't a bruise, it was breast cancer. I think the shock of hearing the word cancer, it breaks you. It breaks you and all of a sudden it hits you in a different way because, you think cancer, you think death sentence, and it's scary. And so then you have a follow-up. But I have to tell you, the first thing I learned from it is that mammograms prevention is the best key for whatever we could share. Prevention is where it's at, number one, because if I didn't have fallen and didn't have that inkling to go for that fall, I would have not had a mammogram and I probably would have had more of a stage 3, stage 4 cancer.
I always say that it was our dad who was on the other side. Yeah. Actually, he passed years ago, who actually pushed her because I think she was concerned, but she never paid attention. But in my heart, I do feel that Dad, our father, actually pushed her to the point where she had to pay attention. So I take it as a blessing. So that fall was a blessing.
And having Elizabeth Davis from Lodi, I have to say that she basically says, "Where's your mammogram?" She was so adamant insisted for me to get a mammogram. I never really went out to get help. I always was trying to give help, but for someone to say, stop, take care of yourself, get this done, follow up, was definitely a big moment for me to understand that you've got to take care of yourself a little bit and prioritize better. So I was very fortunate that I had a good support system. Plus Francine, could you imagine Francine every day, 3-4 times a day calling me, did you get your test? Did you get your test? But I didn't want to share it. I have 3 boys and a daughter, and I didn't want to talk about it because it's breast cancer. It's a very, very common thing right now, and should we all be comfortable to talk about it?
And it was at a rough time. The first time was when we were really looking at putting Lira together, and you had to decide if you wanted to put Lira together at that point. What were you going to do? So there was a lot of decisions to be made at that point, because do you plan for the future? Do you stop? What do you do? And the fact that she chose to, you know what, we're going to get through this and go forward made a big difference.
It was 2008 the first time, because I've had it twice. And the first time was 2008. And what I realized is that I wanted to go forward. I needed to put something, if something happened to me, I wanted something in place for my family and for the people who worked with me. So it was a mission to help them, but it really helped me, because I didn't want to leave my family without, all the hard work that we did in the industry, and my sister, and the people that worked with me. So I was on a mission to save them originally.
But you know what? That kindness saved you and us. So the good news is the fact that being a fighter is very important. And she was a fighter. I mean, she took it on. We were all scared. There's no ifs and buts about that. Everyone was scared, because the cancer word scares everyone. I just thank God today it's not as bad. So people should not be scared when they hear the word cancer. Just go in and get the treatments. Go in, find out what's going on, because it's so important to get the treatments.
And I have to tell you what I learned with my mistake. You always need a second opinion. I have 2 sisters and I have 4 kids, but unless you hear the word cancer, there's a disconnect. But one of our accounts, Caroline Weber, she had just experienced it, and I was helping her through her journey. And when I got diagnosed, she came to my house and just said, let's go. And the only thing that I didn't do is get a second opinion. So I strongly encourage, go and get a second opinion, because when I went for a second opinion to UCSF, the doctor says, anytime there's a question, it's so foreign to us, always have an advocate with you and always have a second opinion, so that you have the opportunity to take it in. I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot to take in. You kind of get numb at that moment. So I learned a lot through my journey, and I share that with whoever gets, newly diagnosed. Get a second opinion, get a good support system around you, and you'll get through it.
But that was your first time. And what treatment did you get?
Lumpectomy, and I had radiation. And that was the first time I realized that skin played an important role, because getting radiation for over 30 days, your skin gets raw, and the heat actually penetrates outside of your body. It really is strong. And really having some type of hydration on my skin was really an eye-opening, because I didn't think I needed it. And all of a sudden I needed it. And that was in 2008.
What kind of hydration did you use? What did you use that helped?
A dimethicone, actually, Elizabeth Davis. And I wanted, because she had a good friend that had it too, and that burning sensation. So we tried to put a dimethicone cream together, and we did. It helped me through it. But again, there was just more formulations right now, but it helped me to use something that was keeping it hydrated without any chemicals, something very simple, something not to irritate that wound.
Yeah.
And that was for radiation. That was the key thing for radiation, which was difficult for you.
I mean, we're talking a long time ago, almost 17 years ago.
I mean, it's almost 20 years if you think about it. The technology has changed so much, and that's why one of the things why we talk about making sure to get this episode out about talking breast cancer awareness, because getting that early detection is key, because the technology is better now. They're so much more precise on things, the treatment. So that's the good thing. But still, I mean, you went through it twice. The first time, and then the second time when it came back, how was it different?
They say if you go 10 years out, I would ask cancer survivors, how long has it been? And, they said 5 years and then 8 years. And I would look for those long-term survivors. So I went to my 10-year anniversary date. I'm taking an estrogen blocker longer, just to be cautious. I went in, and that nurse, God bless her, that nurse did just a check on me, and she says, oops, something's not right. And right away sent me and realized that I had a recurrence, but it was a different one. It's really crazy. The first one was estrogen positive, and the second was HER2 positive. And I was at a UCSF, and they moved fast. And I went through a whole setup of chemo for a year and a half. Without Francine and Anna doing the cold cap, I was scared of losing my hair, and the doctor looked at me, you're gonna lose your life if you don't worry about your hair. That's secondary. Your first primary is why I get this chemo in you. Dr. Hope Rugo, I have to put a shout out for her, UCSF. She called me. I was having a meltdown, and I was in the office with a nurse. And she dialed Dr. Rugo, and she answered. She was in South Korea. She answered the phone and said, what does she need? So, I mean, the support system means a lot. It gives you that, I can do this kind of thing. I never was left alone with all the chemo. Francine and Anna went to every one of those chemos, leaving 5 o'clock in the morning and staying till 7 o'clock at night. It's a journey, but I have to tell you, I realize life is today, not tomorrow. And what I realized that we have to really focus on every day as today, because I don't have tomorrow, but I have today. It really changed my perspective in life. I realized that life is sweeter, moments are memorable, and I think that working in the field that you love, and I love this industry, I love the people that are around me, I feel that it's given me the power and the will to keep going. And now, that was second time was 2018. And I had to go through a year and a half of chemo, a double mastectomy. What else did I get through? But a lot.
Yeah, that's a
And I
lot.
was
The
working through
chemo, you didn't have chemo the first time. You had the
No.
radiation.
No.
The second time with the chemo was rougher. It was a little tough for you. And it was, you didn't feel good. I remember we were trying to bring in different foods in the office so she would eat something. I remember trying to get her to eat the peanut butter and jelly, those frozen
Yes.
things from Costco that they have. We're just getting her to try to eat something because she would not eat. She lost her appetite. The cold pack was very difficult. She had to sit there with pain medication to be able to tolerate the cold pack on her head. And that was difficult, but she was a trooper. She got through it with a lot of prayers and a lot of love. And we had love from not only family and friends, but we had a great, great office staff that were right there supporting her. And we have a great team. And it was difficult going out to do any type of training. I remember we went to Australia that year, and Metaxia didn't go, and it was devastating. For me, it was very hard. I know Brenda came, and we went and did it, but it was not the same. And so it was hard going out and doing certain kind of training without her. So when she came back, it was such a joy, and what a difference when she came back.
I think I remember, Anna, that the first time I went to an event, it was in, I think, Utah. And I remember because my hair had thinned out so much. And all of a sudden, the moment of being there with everyone made me realize, share the story and tell them what happened. And then all of a sudden, did you get a mammogram? Did you get a mammogram? People were looking to me for support because they had a diagnosis or they had a friend or a family. It's so much more out there. I don't know for what reason. There's just so much more breast cancer lately that it's scary. But we can survive with the love of, I believe in God. I believe there's a higher spirit, but the support of the higher being, support of my family, and the passion of realizing how lucky we are every day. It shouldn't be anti-aging. It should be a blessing to age. It should be nice to be able to get older. And the sad part about it too is through all of this, my daughter-in-law was diagnosed with breast cancer, and she didn't make it. So there was a guilt about her not making it and me making it. So there's a guilt there. It was pretty hard because I felt she was young, I was old. Why am I living and her not? But it was hard.
And I think that was a double hit.
Yeah.
And so in Georgia's memory, we still honor her and always remind people, please go get checked.
Yeah.
It was difficult.
So there's a survival guilt that is crazy with all of this. This is survivor guilt. But I also learned that I'm here for a reason. And I'm here to tell people that you can survive, you can live, enjoy. You know, it's not a death sentence. In fact, I'm going to die. And the doctor, and I think the nurse said, we're all going to die.
Yeah.
So why you're not, it's not a death sentence. It's just that you have to fight to live longer. And we all have to fight, and we all have to do the right things and be aware of precaution. You know, take it serious. You know, do the checkups. You know, be aware of your body. Your body sends you signs. Falling is not a coincidence. You're right, Fran. But if you find a lump, don't let it go. You know, I mean, be there. Be aware of your body. Stress. We're under a lot of stress. It's been really hard. This whole global stress is not just United States. Everyone has some type of stress. But be aware, and you can live. And every day is a blessing for me. Every day is a blessing, and I love what I'm doing. I think that is therapy for me. I don't go to a therapist when I come to work. Sometimes we work 14, 15 hours, but I feel fulfilled, or I could do something different for this industry.
That's one thing when it comes to balance and stress and all that, and going through your treatment and everything while you're running a business. What helped you when you had those days that were incredibly stressful? What helped you, kind of balance it out? And do you have a different outlook now when you're at work and you have those stressful moments, but it's a different type of stress?
I think, scheduling, we would get chemo on Thursday, I'd be okay on Friday and pass out Saturday and Sunday and come back to work on Monday. Scheduling around your activities, don't stop. There is moments of depression. All of a sudden you think what I've been through. Talking, I think talking, communicating, sharing your fears is really a release. You bottle it, hold it inside. It really is not healthy. I'm fortunate. I have a beautiful family. I have such a support system. My mother, oh my God, I have to say, being a mom and having my kid go through this would be shocking. So, having my mom play a big important role, trying to be strong, but then crying behind to my sisters and to my family.
She was cooking anything just to have you eat something, because mom shares her love with food. And she would cook anything that you wanted, try any recipe so you'd make sure to eat.
Yeah. I have no problem. I caught up. But with the
No.
but the thing is, I have to tell you, it's really, when I say that sincerely, it's don't give up. Just because the diagnosis comes with cancer, there's so much more technology. We've changed. The survivor rates are much higher now. I mean, I've been through it twice, and now it's 6 years from my second diagnosis, and I'm cancer-free. So all these things matter. A positive attitude is what's going to get you through this. Your mind plays an important role, but if you're positive, you're going to be less stressed and probably live a happier day-to-day life.
Yeah, but it was rough. We would take a flight when she started traveling again. She goes, I have my boarding pass. I go, yeah, you have your boarding pass. She goes, in life, I have my boarding pass. And I didn't understand what she meant. And I think you should explain that, Xia, because it bothered me when you said that. But then I looked back and I said, okay, I understand it now.
A boarding pass to me was, we all are going on a journey. We're all going to go on a journey. We don't know when we're going to take the journey. We don't know how long it's going to be out there. But when you get diagnosis with a cancer or even heart or anything that is, life-threatening like that, it's a boarding pass. That means, you have one more step closer to that trip. But the boarding pass doesn't mean you have to get on the airplane.
No, I told you to rip it up a few times, if I remember correctly.
You don't have to take that flight.
Need it. Yes.
No. So the fact that I realized that I don't have to, it wasn't like, here I is, I'm going to go. No, I'm not going. And I'm fighting. And I believe everyone has a fight. And I think we just are very fortunate of the technology we have right now. I mean, HER2 positive was a moderately type of breast cancer. And Dr. Rugo came up with a conference and came up with a chemo specifically for that. Every day there's research. Triple negative, that was something that didn't have any treatments. Now there's treatments for triple negative. That's what my daughter-in-law died with. It's changing every day. They're fighting for us. I think we should all support the cancer foundations. They're fighting for us, and there's hope. There's a lot of hope.
And one of the things that sticks out is when you talk about work being therapy and how that, how that helped you a lot. Because sometimes when you hear that somebody has cancer, it's like, oh my gosh, this is the lowest I could be. And you can get yourself kind of into a dark place, but you need to find your way to keep fighting.
And then skincare played an important role. I have to tell you, all of a sudden my skin needs were different. So my skin was dehydrated. I had pigment coming up. I lost my eyelashes. I lost my eyebrows. All of a sudden I realized that my skin was going through a trauma. It's an organ. So using good skincare and always having your doctor check what you're using. Don't assume, oncology is a big word and skincare with oncology is a word under that, but always have the doctor check what you're doing, because they need to be able to support you if there's something coming up. So they shouldn't be surprised on something you're using on your skin. I went with Lira to UCSF. They were very impressed. Mastika is a winner. I use it on my eyelids, my eyelashes, my eyebrows, but clean skincare, certain things that we had to avoid. Francine's a guru of ingredients. She'll tell you all these things, but I literally took the product there. It says, what can I use? Metaxia cleanser was a savior. My skin was so sensitive. SPFs, you're photosensitive to sun. The journey of our skin is going to alter from season, but alter from conditions. You know, antibiotics will change it. So being aware of your skin needs. Fran, what did you notice with my skin? I mean, there's a lot going on.
I noticed the one thing. First of all, she started turning a little more gray than normal.
Yeah.
And she was, like I said, losing weight. You saw her face thinning out. Her skin was dry. And what she really needed at that time was a lot more hydration. Of course, protection. That was one thing she needed to do. The beauty oil, the anti-inflammatory, just was calming it down, making her feel a little better, bringing it down her neck. When she was going through radiation, she had to use it in the area that they were targeting for the radiation. She had to use a lot more hydrating to protect the skin's barrier because the skin became raw. And so she had some issues right there. So it's about really putting back into the skin, because Metaxia is right. There's a lot of turmoil, but they're putting in chemo. And that's very difficult in the body. So you have to keep putting in more and more nutrients to the skin, hydration to the skin, and just making sure that everything that you're using is something positive. No retin-A's, no retinols, no acids,
No glycolics.
No glycolics, absolutely.
No.
Just, you don't need that stuff at that point. All you're doing is repairing, because your body is fighting and trying to get rid of the cancer, and all the products that you put on top should be hydrating and anti-inflammatory and antioxidants with protection.
I was using recovery
Because of your
balm.
lips? Yes.
Yeah, the caviar. Dr. Rugo said the caviar was, again, really nice, nourishing. That helped too. But I have to tell you,
a lot of people. That's the reason why we use that product for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, because it is such a big hit.
It's
very
rich. And then hair too, Anna. You have to be really careful with the shampoos and stuff. I mean, your body, it goes through a shock. You know, using certain products for your hair, that had to change too. We talk about that in our classes. The skin talks to you. Your eyes talk to you. Even those eyes, you know, you see that dehydration around the eyes, all that. That's why I love my Metaxia oil. Oh, I love it.
But she'd wear eyeliner to hide the fact that her lashes were gone. So I remember she would be using the beauty oil on her eyelids because of her eyelashes. And she did a great job. She never complained, and it was really difficult to see it, but she really hit it well. She was positive. We appreciate that. I remember something funny, and then I'll go back to your skincare. In our old office, there was this god-awful couch I had in our office because we were there. And it was a cheetah couch.
Yeah.
I love that
Everybody teases about that cheetah couch. It's in the warehouse right now because they won't let me bring it anywhere close to the front office right now.
It's your Cleopatra chair.
But she, yes, the Cleopatra chair. And you'd see sometimes she get tired. And she's the one that I would say used it the most. Am I right? You would use it once in a while around 4 o'clock, only for 20 minutes. I go, take a little longer. She goes, no, I'm fine. I only need 20 minutes. So she would go and just lay on the cheetah couch for 20 minutes, and then she was fine. But the fact that she would get up again and she was so positive, I really feel made the difference.
Yeah.
It really did make a big difference.
It's crazy what we went through, and you know, it's a dream now. It's like a dream. Work. When I say work with what you love to do. Work is, you know, I mean, sometimes we work because we have to, but I'm very fortunate. I love what I do. I love the people I'm around. I mean, a shout out to Anna, my daughter. As a mom, you worry about her having breast cancer, you and Vula, because it wasn't in our family. You know, I checked off all the things.
You did the BRCA test.
I did the BRCA test. I'm negative, but why me? But then all of a sudden I put Anna in additional compromise, you guys, because of me. So, you know, being aware of it and, you know, mammograms and talking about it. We didn't have to talk about it. Fran and I and our youngest sister, we never talked about breast cancer that way. So now it's open.
She changed our history forms. You know, now we have to write it in,
Sorry.
and you have to pay attention because nobody had breast cancer, as far as we know, on either side of our family. So this was a first for us.
I don't drink. I don't smoke. You know, all the factors they say, it's not a BRCA. I don't have that. I personally feel when you have a lot of stress, and I think that extra stress causes your body to attack the weakest part of your body for whatever reason. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but I have to tell you, stress, everywhere I go, keep your stress levels down, try to walk, keep yourself in motion, keep yourself going, keep your mind in motion. All of a sudden you get the depression, the fear, there's a lot of fear involved in this. Just keeping yourself busy, it eliminates a lot of that.
That was the first time, Anna, we actually started getting involved with breast cancer awareness. We started going into October, we would actually sell more of the caviar cream, and we would donate certain amount to breast cancer awareness because it was so important to hydrate the skin, and our caviar cream would do that. Between the Mestiza oil and the caviar cream, I do feel that's what helped Metaxia quite a bit, because those two items, besides we have others too, but those two items made a huge difference in her skin.
So what were some of the ingredients that people should look for when they're dealing with, when they're going through treatment, or maybe when they're finished with treatment and they're trying to recover, going through recovery? What are some ingredients they should look for, and what are some that they should avoid?
Oh, Fran is a guru.
First of all, you're not going to peel them. You're not going to do anything aggressive. And what you need to do, as you really are looking for strong antioxidants, anti-inflammatories, at this point, it's all about repair for the skin, hydration, repair. And what Metaxia did, and what others need to remind themselves to use, are products that actually help with hydration, really putting more of the nutrients back into their skin, and SPF. And with us, it was the Mystique line that actually helped Metaxia quite a bit, because our Mestiza, they're actually doing a lot more research in the island of Rios at the Mestiza Research Center. And they're actually seeing that some of the research they're doing is for actually colon cancer. And the Mestiza is such a strong anti-inflammatory, they're even seeing some results and doing some testing with cancer. So the Mestiza was great for Metaxia. That's why the Mystique line helped her so very, very much. But again, our caviar cream, which was a little thicker and a lot more hydrating, and all those benefits that it has with anti-inflammatories, antioxidants, you saw the hydration go right back into her skin, which was so important.
But it comes down to really simple hydration with not aggressive ingredients, no peels, nothing like that. But really, less is best at that moment, and really not worrying about, the beauty part of it, just worrying about this, living part of it. Yeah, I didn't have eyelashes, I didn't have eyebrows, and I remember the first time I didn't wear a pencil, and I walked in, she goes, "Oh my God, you lost your eyelashes." And I said, "I've done that for a while." But keeping your skin clean and hydrated for me is more where I'm looking for during this treatment, and not worrying about, oh my God, the negative from it. It comes back. My lashes are longer than they've ever been. My eyebrows are there. I mean, my hair. Your health is the most important thing. Don't worry about your hair at that moment. Just get the treatment, and know that you'll be okay through it. I've been through a couple of good friends having it, and thank God they've been fine. But it's just, you got to be there. You're a family of survivors, and you stick together. When I hear somebody, I'll stop at a show. In fact, the last show, Fran, I think we were in Las Vegas, and I noticed this lady had a port, and she was looking around, and I went right up to her, and she had no idea what I was going to do. And I went up to her and I says, "So you're going through treatments?" And she looked at me like puzzled. I says, "I've been there." I showed her the scar from the port. I says, "Listen," I says, "you're here, and that's the best thing you're doing. You're here, you're learning." And the tears, both of us had tears because she's scared. And I gave her a essential care, and I told her, I gave her my cell phone number. I told her, if you need anything, call me, but I've been through it. So she looked at me, went around, and about an hour later, she says, "You know something?" She says, "You gave me so much inspiration." Because when you come in a show and you see all the beauty stuff and all these women and men dressed nice and trying to solicit skincare, I just wanted to be there for her. And so I got a text probably 2 weeks later, and she is now going to do the same thing. She's going to go when she sees someone going through, with hair loss or a port, and that scared feeling, she's going to do the same thing because it changed her life.
That's key right there, that support. You knew that you had so much support and that you're paying it forward, and that's going to keep continuing to help so many down the road.
Yeah.
So each one of us can make such a huge difference in somebody's life. Even if we go through the hardest times, those just make us stronger. I also commend you too for so much that you have gone through. I mean, also all those challenges you talked about, from the hair loss, the fatigue, the skin sensitivity, and all the changes that your body had gone through. Talk about also how you dealt with it all emotionally, especially working in an industry that's so surrounded by beauty and confidence when you're going through all this.
That's a hard part because everyone looks beautiful. Everyone looks like they're living a wonderful life and everything is fine. But when you sit down on a one-to-one, we all have struggles. We all have our problems. It might not be cancer, but it might be something else. We all carry some type of issue. It's just realizing that we're united, and that's what it is. And for me, being united with humans, being united with women who are struggling. I mean, running, a household, kids, a business, it's just a lot of work. And they said, it takes a village sometimes, but it takes a village too to go through life. It's not all about beauty. I think our skincare industry is changing. It's more factual about being healthy. I mean, the wellness is coming into our industry more. It used to be just anti-aging, take the wrinkle off. Wellness is such an important part to it now with Medi-spas or talking about the wellness of whole body wellness. So it's changing, and it's changing. And the industry is helping people who are going through breast cancer. A couple of our accounts that I know very well have gone through it, and they've done well.
I think Metaxia took our philosophy and she put it to practice. The beauty starts from within.
Yeah.
It's when you smile, when you're kind to people.
Yeah.
When you understand that, you understand it starts from within. We just polish it on the outside, but it comes from inside out. And that was an experience that really did show, and we were able to take that experience and share it with people because we are more real about it. And you have to be with anything that we do, whatever you're doing. If you're a nurse, if you're a doctor, if you're a secretary, if you're a teacher, it starts here and people feel it and see it. All we do is put the final touches on.
Well, I think that's why people connect with you both and Lira Clinical and the entire team, because you can have all these videos of people being perfect or, putting all these filters on, but that honesty, that really gets to people and that really makes them connect to everybody. When you look back on this whole experience, how did it change you personally and professionally?
Wow, that's a good question. Personally, don't live for tomorrow, live for today, make today good. I was a person that planned 10 years, I will do this, 15 years, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna be here. And there was always a tomorrow. That's personal. Business-wise, it's a motivator. This, for me, when you love what you're doing, it's not the money part, it's the gratification of being successful. It's not a dollar amount. It's just because you're doing something that every day you're happy and proud of. I learned that too for business. It's really just engage in working on something you love. The dollars come after. I know some Shark Tanks. There's a couple of times I've seen Shark Tank, and it's from the people that, you got to believe in yourself. I mean, we started being entrepreneurs, Francine and I. This family has been entrepreneurs for years.
Easter baskets. What are you talking about? We made Easter baskets at the grocery store.
At the grocery store.
And we were, oh my God. Okay.
Yeah, Easter baskets.
Easter baskets.
We're entrepreneurs and no one was going to stop us. Business-wise, I never went into it thinking that I was going to make all this money and that was my goal. It was really just enjoying the journey, and I'm very fortunate to have Francine, my sister, Anna, my daughter, Brenda, a dear friend, best friend, and the people that was with us and this team. That to me is the best business you could ever ask for.
I do have to say what I noticed, if you have to just jump in and tell. Metaxia loves peels. Just aggressive, get out there and peel and peel. And it's like, okay, we're going to peel. They go together. What I noticed with her, she knows exactly when to peel and when not to peel. And I think that's one of the key things I noticed is that healing process that came in, because you're right, you're always planning for tomorrow. You're always thinking about tomorrow. And this made a huge change in you, that you looked at that and you said, wait a second, we can do this today. And then move forward slowly tomorrow. Not only I think did it change how you think, but it also changed how you look at protocols and treatments, because you're looking at it like today matters and what we do forward is going to take place and we're going to get the best doing it. You don't have to aggressively go in there and do what you have to do. You can take it day by day and be the best.
Yeah, you don't have to wait 14 days after a peel. I could get a service today and look beautiful today and hydrated. So it did change me like that too.
Well, you really are a real inspiration. And I just want to thank you for your honesty and your strength. I know that it is incredibly important to you to continue to get the word out there, to spread the message, get yourself checked, find that support group and find people to help you. And it's so incredibly important. So is there any last bit of advice you want to give people?
My advice is don't look superficial beauty. Like Fran said earlier, looking inner beauty. And Fran gets mad at me every time I says, I'm going to be 70 this year. I have no problem saying every day that I've lived on this earth has been a blessing. To not be always trying to be that younger version of you, but being the today's version of you, because wisdom comes with every day of living.
You don't have to admit the age. The today version could be any age you want. You could be at any age. Why do we always have to put a number to it?
You're only
has nothing to do with
Proud. Be proud.
Be proud. No.
proud.
When they ask my children's ages, it messes everything up. My children, and then when they ask your children's ages, it's like messes us up totally. So,
and you know, Fran, you're only a few years younger than me. So when I say my age, I'm carrying you with me over.
I know. You're doing that quite well.
Purpose.
Yes, thank you. Okay, I don't know what you're talking about. I have nothing to do with what you're talking about.
Yeah, right.
Hey, well, there's some battle scars to get to there, right? That to get to this point of our lives, we've gone through some battle scars, and be proud to wear those scars proudly. So.
And we're lucky where we are. We're very lucky for what we have. And one thing I have to say, when we travel now, we do things, we're happy today.
Yes.
We are happy today. And we have to stop. And whatever happens in 5 years happens. Because what we're building today matters, but the journey is what we both enjoy today. I would say I do with you.
Yeah, thank you. And you know what's funny? I have to put a quick note. Yesterday, there was a class in the Bay Area. Our educators were there. And all of a sudden, we walked in just to say a quick hello. We looked at a room, there was 43 of them. We looked at a room, and to look at those faces of people that were with us for years from the beginning and working with us and seeing the change that we have done as educators, as owners, co-owners of Lira Clinical, to see the people we've touched in this journey, Fran, it just makes me feel really, really proud of Lira and what we've done for the industry. So I have to put a shout out. Yesterday was to be like, therapy, like you said. I went there and I looked around. I took a deep breath. It was therapy. Yeah. And I remember Metaxia. Some people that 15 years ago that are coming back and they're connecting with us. And that is therapy.
We had a great welcome.
Yeah.
And to see them all. Yeah. The thing is, you remember everyone because they're on the journey with us.
Yeah.
And it's so nice because this is a partnership with everyone. And so it's a blessing. It was a real blessing, even like you said yesterday, as it was storming and it's like the rain was coming down like crazy. But we had a great time. Yeah, it was great seeing everyone.
I want to thank you both so much for this conversation. Thank you so much, Metaxia, for sharing your journey with everyone. And for all of our listeners, if you or someone you love is going through breast cancer, just know that we hope that today's conversation helps you realize that you are not alone, and just to keep on fighting. It's very important. And that's going to do it for us today. So make sure to subscribe to a Skin Depth Convo on any of your favorite podcast platforms like Apple Podcasts, Spotify. You can also watch the show on Spotify and on Lira Clinical's YouTube page at Lira Clinical. And you can follow a Skin Depth Convo on all of our social media channels. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, you name it. We're all over the place. Just go to @Skin Depth Convo. And if you have any questions for Francine or Metaxia, you could send us an email at info@skindepthconvo.com. That's info@skindepthconvo.com. Thank you so much to both of you. And Metaxia, thank you so much for sharing your personal experiences. I know it was a lot. It was very difficult, but if you're interested, you could also read a fantastic article that the Lira educational team had put together on Lira Clinical's website. And thank you so much, Metaxia. For all of us here, I'm Anna Kagarakis, and we'll talk soon.